Male stvari.
Zdravo živo. Danas u Malim stvarima, na moje veliko zadovoljstvo, Barbara O'Neill, jedna od najpoznatijih naturopatkinja u svetu, žena koju prate i slušaju milioni ljudi jer ih uči kako da žive u skladu sa prirodom, kako da navedu svoje telo da se samo isceljuje, kako da žive zdravo i pravilno i kako da se pravilno hrane. Međutim, ne bi Barbara bila u Srbiji da nije još jednog gospodina, odnosno praktično još dvojice koji su organizovali njen dolazak i predavanja ovde.
Male stvari.
Many might be well if only they thought so.
What do you think about vaping?
Breast implant disease.
Imagine you have a nickel allergy or another metal allergy and you have something inside your mouth. The nickel can also be in an implant.
There is 80% more cancer in the world in the last 30 years.
What is biological stomatology?
We feel the symptom, we hear what the body's saying, but most people are so disconnected with their body, they actually don't know how to interpret it.
Sugar is, they say it's almost like cocaine. It's so addictive.
Bones are not made of calcium. That's why his book's called The Calcium Lie.
All the things we do to look prettier, to look younger, like fillers, Botox.
Mercury is a neurotoxin. Neurotoxin means it kills brain cells.
What do you think about perfumes?
People are looking for all the kind of little gadgets to make it better, but they want to look at basic lifestyle changes.
Inhale through the nose, in and out. We'll get more oxygen at the cellular level.
Male stvari.
Pa najpre da pozdravimo Barbaru O'Neill. Barbara, thank you for coming and thank you for being in Male stvari on Hype.
It's good to be here.
Ja. Mi smo sa Barbarom već imali podcast sada i ovde, međutim ovde ćemo pričati o nekim drugim stvarima i zahvalna sam joj na tome, jer je tema zbog koje je sa nama Goran Stojanović iz Londona, stomatolog, upravo biološka stomatologija i koliko je zdravlje naše usne duplje i naših zuba zapravo, a da nismo ni znali, odgovorno i zaslužno za opšte stanje našeg organizma. Gorane, dobrodošao na Hype televiziju.
Hvala puno, hvala.
Kasnije ćeš nam reći kako je došlo do toga da i u Srbiju dovedeš Barbaru, ali pre toga da pozdravimo i Mišu Krstića, za koga bi mogli ukratko da kažemo da je promoter zdravog stila života. Mišo, dobrodošao.
Hvala.
I suorganizator Barbarinog dolaska u Beograd, inače sa adresom u Sloveniji, a Miša je također završio školu homeopatije u Beču.
Klagenfurt.
U Klagenfurtu. Aha.
Da. U stvari to je u šumi.
Aha.
To je jedna divna, jedan hotel kupljen od jednog čoveka iz Beča, ali je u šumi daleko od svega.
Da. Drugim rečima, ne homeopatija, što sam rekla, naturopatije. Pogrešila sam, izvinjam se. E sad, Barbara, how are you? How do you feel in Serbia? Do you feel welcome? What do you think you can contribute to the health and the well-being of all of us?
I love being in Serbia. We just had a look around your city. Some very beautiful buildings there. And I certainly have been very warmly treated, which is very, very nice. What can I contribute? One of my loves is to teach people how to get more out of life.
More what?
More out of life.
Out of life.
So that they can enjoy their life, because I believe life should be enjoyed. Unfortunately, today so many people are sick, and many people don't realize the steps back to wellness are very simple.
Yeah, sometimes we misunderstood enjoying. We enjoy the wrong and toxic things.
Yes, yes.
We think that's enjoying, yeah?
That's right, but enjoyment should be lasting, not brief.
Aha. Okay, well, you will tell us how. Gorane, how did you decide, pričat ćemo na engleskom zato da bi nas Barbara razumela, a vama ćemo prevoditi. So how and why have you decided to bring Barbara to Serbia? And was it difficult to schedule her lectures here, because she's lecturing all around the world for 9 months a year?
So everything is easy for Barbara, but when we look over there and see Jacqueline, then we know it's very difficult to schedule her, because she is fully booked. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to hear her talk live. And it's amazing that we actually managed to get these 7 days. And the idea that Barbara is talking about the simple lives is completely lost.
Yes.
People are looking for all the kind of little gadgets to make it better, but they want to look at basic lifestyle changes. Mm-hmm. I mean, for us as well, the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's difficult to remember sometimes just drinking water.
Sleeping time.
Sleeping on time.
Yes.
Exercising. When you're lazy, get out. Yeah.
Yeah, Goran is living and working in London for 20 years, so we will hear what people there are they healthier? Do they have healthier habits than we do? But before that, I would ask Mišo Krstić maybe to tell us a little bit more about what is actually naturopathy. Maybe people will ask themselves, what is that? Is it some kind of disease? Actually, no. It is the science.
Yeah, it's a science which was, we could say that our grandparents and people used it, in our ancestors used it before. So that's how they survived. That's how thousands of years people went through. And then now we came to the time that science is everything, and that everything what is modern is absolutely right. And then we are completely forgetting what it was and how it was. Then we are trying to put people back to the roots. Uh-huh. And I had one funny anecdote of my life story. Was my father was a doctor in Slovenia. So when I was a child, he was trying to tell me because I was skiing and I twisted my wrist, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he said to my mom, put onion, put cabbage, and so on. At that time, that was in the 80s. And I was like, Dad, but you finished medicine. Why are you trying to help me with these old things? Uh-huh. And in my mind was really, I was a child. Yes. But, and then 40 years later, I paid my own money to go to school for 1 year to learn what my father wanted to teach me at that time.
Yes.
So that's life, circle of life.
So naturopathy is the natural way to treat and heal our body and diseases. But Barbara, in my podcast, Sada i ovde, we discussed why we are ill. But now, and who wants to see, he can look at that on YouTube. But now I want to ask you, how do you think people have actually forgotten to live normally? What is it that we do which is quite not, let's say, not normal, because the society and the fast lifestyles has actually alienated us from being close to our real nature and the nature around?
I think from a young age we're taught to hand our health over to someone else. And a lot of people are becoming disillusioned with medication because of the side effects, they're not healing. So now people want to hand their health over to a naturopath. But what I endeavour to teach people is take control yourself. I think what's also played a role is media. And on media, I know in America nearly every ad is from the pharmaceutical industry. In Australia, a lot of the ads are food. Here's quick oats. You can take this packaged mix and it's got everything you need. And because people are watching a lot of television today, far more than I guess they used to, the ads are having an effect. And we're such a fast society, people want quick fixes. Uh-huh. And with medicine, if you had a rash on your arm, you put the cortisone cream on, the rash would go away. But it's actually a lie. Mm-hmm. Because 2 weeks later it comes back worse. Mm-hmm. But it's this quick fix. People are wanting quick fixes.
Yes, but now, as you mentioned, cortisone and everything. So what would you do instead?
What I would do instead is find out why the rash is there.
Why it is there? Yeah.
Yes, and it could be allergy to chemical, it could be allergy to mold, it could be allergy to certain foods. And even when you eliminate the possible causes, it can sometimes take up to 2 months before you see the full result. It's not going to be quick. People say, haven't you just got a cream that'll take it away? I said, no, the body's speaking to you. The body's in this rash is saying something's wrong. And our skin is an illustration of what's happening internally.
Yes. Yeah, so let's learn a little bit how to listen to our body. That will be really important because the body is always sending the signals.
It is. And no one knows how you feel. That's why we are the most qualified, because we feel the symptom, we hear what the body's saying, but most people are so disconnected with their body, they actually don't know how to interpret it.
Goran, what is biological stomatology? You are expert in biological stomatology, and what does that actually mean, and how often we can use this kind of stomatology?
So, simply said, we should really just be dentists. But in Austria, there used to be a way to be a technician, and then you're a dentista. Then you're just somebody who fixes a hole. So you only look just at the tooth. And I would like to connect to what Barbara was saying. So you want to see what is the body telling you. We have some people in the back, women. Anybody of you guys notices a rash on the skin with jewelry? Anybody notices maybe sometimes? There's only 2 here.
No, I don't. With the jewelry.
30% of women have a nickel allergy. When you think about the number, 30% is super high. Now, the body is telling you, if you have this on your skin, if you put an earring in and you have a rash, you're not going to put the cream on top, you're going to take the earring out. Now, imagine you have a nickel allergy or another metal allergy and you have something inside your mouth. The dentist is not going to say it exists. He will say it doesn't exist. It's all in your head. And that's kind of, so to bring it back, that's a little bit of what biological dentistry is trying to investigate what could be interfering with your health dentally. So dentally, what can actually interfere with you is if you have an allergy to a metal, which is inside your mouth, your body is consistently responding to this. So consistently, there's an allergic response.
So how do you mean? If the metal is in our teeth?
Yes.
Not the metal outside of our body.
Yeah, so the comparison was, just to understand, 30% of women have an allergy to nickel. Now, this allergy to nickel, the nickel can be in your braces from orthodontics. The nickel can also be in fillings. The nickel can also be in an implant. Your body is always responding to this. Your body is having a chronic inflammation to that metal.
Yeah.
The dentist doesn't think...
How does it appear?
How does it appear? Extreme, sometimes.
So what can we feel?
One lady, now I wish people would hear this today and then come in 2 days' time when we're going to talk about dentistry on the event. And one lady who's going to speak there is Linda Nelson. Her mom used to be a professor who invented a heavy metal allergy test. She then sent to me one result and she said, Goran, this is going to blow you away. This woman had such a high allergic reaction to titanium, it was off the charts. So off the charts meaning your allergic reaction would go up to a 10. Hers went up to 50, 60, I think, even higher. Her whole skin showed a response to this. She was chronically inflamed everywhere. Her health was completely down. Nobody wanted to touch her because everybody said it's all in your head. Biological dentistry...
Where was titanium? In the braces?
Sorry, a titanium implant was placed into the bone
the implant
for tooth replacement.
So it actually was in her head.
It actually was in her head, exactly.
Yes.
Now the worst is as then, let's call myself a medical doctor, even though we're just dentists. I will tell something later about this. We don't offer a solution. We just say, no, it doesn't exist. Because hardly people think about the existence of a metal allergy. who thinks it exists is actually orthopedic surgeons. They say, okay, you need a hip replacement, a knee replacement. Maybe there could be some allergic reaction, and they find that the tissue is highly reactive.
So do they find it before they implant?
They test before, but what you find is you find the allergic reaction coming later when you have been almost preconditioned. What Vera Stejskal used to say is, you're being preconditioned to titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide is in dairy, anything that's whitish. That's where titanium dioxide is. It's in foods. So in the dairy, it's in creams. So we have it in sunscreen. We put the sunscreen on our skin. The skin is the biggest organ, and we fry ourselves in the sun. And we get preconditioned for the titanium dioxide. And then you place the implant, and then the body explodes. When I say explodes, we're talking about extreme examples. It's actually lucky, maybe for her, I didn't follow her path later. It's lucky for her that she had this strong reaction. But just imagine that somebody doesn't have a strong reaction, a very subtle one. How do you now become Dr. House? I don't know if people know who Dr. House is. He's the investigative doctor.
Yes, we saw that.
The funniest story on that is that one of my patients, I always ask the patients, why did you come to see me? And she said, I watched one of the episodes of Dr. House, and there was a patient that reacted to metal and had a chronic inflammation. And that sparked me to think, like, what's happening? And then I found out about biological dentists.
Yes, that's where Barbara comes. So what happens? How can we prevent having or heal having the metal reaction?
Well, really, you've just got to get the metal out, because there's no metal naturally in our bodies. Some people are a little bit more reactive than others, and there can be a few reasons for that. Sometimes it can just be the straw that breaks the camel's back. There can be a whole lot of little underlying issues, and then the metal can just tip the scales.
So if somebody is putting implant, does it have to be the metal one?
No. So we have now a chance to use ceramic implants. Whereas before, still, nowadays, the main implants are titanium, because the Dental Society is seeing titanium as a very good solution, and it is. It works.
It's also a metal.
It's a metal, yes.
But less reactive. Yes.
Which one?
Titanium is probably the least reactive.
Titanium is the least reactive, exactly. It's the least reactive metal. The issue with that is you don't only just have titanium in there, you have a mixture of alloys, because once the titanium is in the bone, and that's where the dentist says this is what the importance is. It's only in the bone, but then you have a screw on top, you have an abutment on top. And then you get a crown on top. Then you have many dissimilar metals. And we love Nikola Tesla. And I think if Nikola Tesla would know how many metals we have in our mouth sometimes, he would say, guys, you're picking up radio waves, this is not good for you. There's a study which is showing that the bone heats up around a titanium implant by 3 degrees. I think it was 3. So every time you're on the phone, this area heats up because it's picking up the EMF.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Mišo, šta ti kažeš what do you say about all this? Do you have something to add from the point of view of naturopathy?
First of all, I need to move my 3 screws that I have in my knee from skiing. They're titanium. I need to move them.
But you don't have to if you don't have allergy.
No, yeah, but it's, you know, the how it is in life. It's not that something happens today if we will drink something just in small portion today and I will die. No, this is like a process. That people, I was working at the surgery department for almost 10 years in Salzburg, in Austria, in Uniklinikum, top surgery department. And people are coming, now I have cancer. How come I have cancer and I was healthy? You are not healthy, you know, because that was a process. But about the metals, it's... I did put, because I talked with Goran before, and I did put 2 of my crowns, ceramic, and it is much better, and it is better to avoid metals, definitely. And there are tests that we can do for metals. Actually, everyone should do that. And what is also problematic with that, there's with all deodorants, all the stuff that we are using with aluminium inside, that we would need to avoid. There are many things that we are using actually that there are metals.
Contain metals. Yes, Barbara, how can we avoid the metals from our environment and from all we are using?
Well, I think the first step, and I remember Goran actually came to Misty Mountain, 2018? Long time ago, 2018.
Yeah.
And my husband said, there's a dentist from London here to see you. Now, we live way out in the bush, and that's where I met Goran. And Goran said to me, I wanted to meet you because I tell my patients to watch you. Because when they watch you and they learn to drink more water, go to bed early, exercise, drink a plant-based or eat a more plant-based diet, their teeth are better. So what we can do is we can start being aware of our body, start learning to listen, start giving the body the right conditions, then we will not need to lose our teeth. We will not need to have a knee replacement. So the metals come in because medicine is confronted with, there's a hip about to break. What can we do? We can put a titanium hip in there. And Goran is presented with this person's teeth's falling out. So he comes in with, well, we can do an implant, we can do this. But they're really just Band-Aid patch-up jobs. I think the bottom line is it's time for people to become aware of their bodies, for people to learn how to look after their bodies so we don't have to go to these things.
Yes, later on you will tell us where there are heavy metals in the food and drinks. But Goran, why are our teeth breaking? How can we save our teeth?
Why are the teeth breaking?
Not breaking, being, zašto se kvare?
Yeah.
Ne zašto se lome, nego zašto se
Deteriorating.
Yes.
Decaying.
Decaying.
Well, number one is we don't have a perfect diet. I didn't have a perfect diet. I loved, how do we call this dish? Pasta, ground nuts, sugar.
Pasta.
We ate a lot of times just like pasta with nuts on top and sugar. It's
slatki spaghetti.
Slatki spaghetti. It's a sugar bomb. It's really just a sugar bomb. There's no protein inside. There's carbs with sugar on top, with the nuts on top. Then, in general, I had a sweet tooth. Other people have a sweet tooth. So your body is creating acidity. The acidity is attacking the teeth.
So it's not only not washing the teeth after eating sugar.
I think the problem is more what's inside.
Sugar.
Absolutely. It's really, we always think about what paste do I have to use to protect my teeth? And I'm thinking, well, maybe you should look at your diet and see what foods do you have to consume to have a better inside. If the skin is not good, obviously, not the pharmacy, but the shop will sell you a cream, but somebody else will fix your gut to try to make the skin better. So health comes from the inside. Teeth health comes from the inside as well, should come from the inside. Now, if it's not, then sometimes the discussion is, should I have fluoride or not? And I see sometimes patients sometimes I feel they're not cleaning the teeth. I'm thinking if at least you would use the fluoride toothpaste, I would be happy. At least start with that and maybe then switch to something else. But if the body is healthy on the inside, if the teeth are healthy, we can even use soda bicarbonate. We can use simple things to clean our teeth, to get the plaque off. Because then we don't need that many products.
So you think the toothpaste with fluoride is good?
I think we can stay away from that.
Because I know that Barbara's husband's party was also anti-fluoridation.
Fluoridation is not good.
Fluoridation.
Because pregnant women used to get fluoride tablets. Kids used to have fluorosis. In some areas where the water in America, that's a lot. In some areas where the fluoridation is very high, you have patched enamel. That's not good. That's weakening. That's weakening the tooth. You always have to see a balance. What I think it's not good to stress people.
Yeah.
Let's say the question you were asking: how can we avoid something? What can we do now to save ourselves? It's almost making a plan for us. Okay, what can I do now? Let me reduce, let's say, a cream that has something in it that's not good. Let me reduce a food which is not good for me, step by step. Otherwise, we stress.
Da, Mišo, u čemu se sve nalaze teški metali? So, what should we avoid to not take heavy metals in our body?
As I mentioned before, like we are buying many products, and we should start reading what's in that product. That's very important. I think 95% of people, or maybe 90% of people, are buying things, clothes or food without reading the ingredients.
Yeah. And where can we find heavy metals and why? Why are there metals in something we don't even expect to contain metal?
Well, like it used to be, in former times when we had leaded gasoline with lead. So we shouldn't buy the stuff which is growing next to the street, to the roads. That people were selling, farmers were selling whatever. So we should be like clever to avoid many things. So if I can add about sugar that you mentioned before, sugar is, they say it's almost like cocaine. It's so addictive, and I was also addicted to sugar because you don't feel or you don't think about it. And it's so important what you put in your mouth, like why teeth are getting rotten. Sugar is one of the biggest problems that we consume almost every day, and we don't have like any measure maybe about that. And we see also obesity at this moment. If we check photos from the 70s from the beach or today, you can see the difference.
Yes.
And this sugar is really, really attacking our body, that we would need to put it to minimize it or to try to cut it off from our diet.
Yes. Barbara, in one of your lectures, you mentioned Calcium Lie. That's a book by some of your colleagues. But why I'm asking you this? Because actually teeth are also bones.
That's
and
right.
They are visible bones. And what's happening on our teeth, can it reflect on what's happening on our bones?
It absolutely can, because the teeth are the only exposed bone in the body. So the health of the teeth is a good illustration of what's happening with the bones. And it's Dr. Robert Thompson who wrote the book, The Calcium Lie. Interesting story, very quickly. He was a GP and people were not getting better. And he just thought to get out of medicine, but it takes a long time to be a doctor. So he did a nutrition course and his eyes were opened. His eyes were opened. He said, we learn this in med school, but it's in and out quick and we forget it all, or we don't. It's not spent a lot of time on.
What was wrong that we were learned in the medical schools and doesn't apply to reality?
I believe what is wrong today is that the pharmaceutical company holds a large piece of the pie, and so much time is spent on studying drugs, their effect on the body. I believe more time should be spent on this incredible body and what conditions it requires. And as Robert Thompson shows, bones are not made of calcium. That's why his book's called The Calcium Lie. Bones are made of 12 main minerals and 64 trace minerals. So where do we get that? From the whole salts, the Celtic, the Baja salt, and also dark green leafy vegetables grown organically. You see, you have a look at the cow, have a look at the elephant, the orangutan, the biggest boned creatures on the planet, eat plants.
So actually, is calcium one of those 12 minerals?
It is. It is. But you see, calcium's called the king. And I think that's the misconception around calcium. And calcium's called the king because when calcium is taken into the cell, under the action of vitamin D, by the way, when it's taken into the cell, all the other minerals piggyback on the back of calcium and get pulled into the skin. So it's not just calcium, it's all the minerals, but it's not just calcium and the minerals, it's vitamin D. And vitamin D is essential to get that calcium and minerals in.
So can we take some supplement that would enable the income of all these minerals?
Yes, it's called lying in the sun.
Okay, so vitamin D, but is it without sun protect factor?
Absolutely. I never wear sunscreens. In fact, Ian Wishart, in his book on vitamin D, he claims that these sunscreens are causing skin cancers.
But are the sunblock creams preventing from our skin from using vitamin D?
That's right. That's absolutely right. You see, it's the UVB rays that connect with the skin, convert a form of cholesterol just under the skin to vitamin D. So we need the UVB rays, we need sun exposure, and we need cholesterol. Now, the sunscreens block UVB rays.
So the only advice would be to not expose ourselves to the sun during the worst period of time.
Well, if you do, it has to be brief because the sun in the middle of the day is the strongest, so you don't need a lot of it. So if I'm going to be out in the sun for a long period, I'll put a hat on and a long, thin cotton blouse on. Obviously, if you're going to be out there for too long, you will get burnt.
Yeah. So then expose ourselves in the morning, and late afternoon.
Yep.
And disfrutar na španskom. And just use the benefits of the vitamin D from the nature.
Well, if I'm lying out in the sun, I do sometimes get a holiday. If I lie out in the sun, I take this watch. 10 minutes front, 10 minutes back under the umbrella. And if I do that twice a day, within about 4 days, I've got a nice tan.
Yeah, so 10 minutes on the sun, 10 minutes under umbrella.
No, 10 minutes front, 10 minutes back, and then under umbrella. That's my white skin. So if a person has darker skin, they certainly can endure a bit longer.
Okay. And now when we are talking about vitamin D, do you suggest taking it as a supplement also?
You know, if the person has a blood test and they find out they're quite low, it is a good idea to take a supplement to get it up to the right level. But then seriously look at the lifestyle and take time to be outside in the sun.
Okay. Actually, a lot of people have the lack of vitamin D in their blood, and it is worldwide. And that's why a lot of doctors suggest we take supplement of vitamin D to have stronger bones and to prevent osteoporosis. I will ask you about that because we didn't have time in Sada i Ovde in the podcast to talk about this serious problem of osteoporosis. But let me talk a little bit to Goran more about the latest techniques in dentistry.
Quickly on the vitamin D. If you live in the UK, you will have at least 2 months zero vitamin D from the sun. So for those times, it's good to take the vitamin D supplement and then to go and buy it. But when the summer comes, you don't need it. So you should go out in the sun, what she says. And what you need for the minerals, you need Celtic sea salt. When you have dairy, and I think you touched on this in the other podcast, dairy creates an acidity and draws the minerals out of it. There were studies showing that
dairy products.
Animals exposed to dairy suddenly created the feet to go crooked. And that's Professor Walter Feit. He was looking into those studies. Dairy, mlečni proizvodi.
Znači, da, tako sam mislila.
It creates acidity in the gut. It creates acidity in the gut. And then it draws the minerals out of the bones and out of the teeth.
And on the contrary, it's usually probably
the milk we want.
The milk is wanted for calcium. So on the contrary.
Right. It's a misconception. And the other thing that even draws the minerals out even more is the refined sugar.
Okay. Okay, so...
Sorry, can I add something about vitamin D? Actually, before Corona came, not so many people were like dealing with vitamin D. And Goran mentioned that, or you said, many people, most of the people have lack of vitamin D because they are not checking regularly or any kind. You need to go to laboratory, especially please check how high is my vitamin D. So my vitamin D was 16 when I went to that school.
That's really low. It should be 80, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From 80 to 100.
Yeah.
And I went there, and before that, I went to doctor who gave me prescription for lab, and she didn't say anything about my low vitamin D. And then, okay, I thought when I saw it's a disaster. Actually, my whole immune system is really low, and I was like ill at that time quite often. And when I was working in that school, also in the field, and after 1 year, I checked my vitamin D, and I thought I was outside all the time. I was taking supplements for 1 year, and I thought, okay, now I'm probably 100.
Boosted.
I checked 46.
So it rises up very slowly.
It needs time, and we really need to take it as a supplement because otherwise we will be quite low. I was working mostly inside before, and even though when you're working outside in the field and somehow it's not enough and it's really rising slowly.
Yes. Even when I come back from the holidays on the coast, on the seaside, my vitamin D level doesn't rise.
We're going to test it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to do a quick test. Surprise.
Let's test it. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Anyway, we suggest you tested your vitamin D level. It's important. Reci mi, molim te, Gorane, please tell me, mi pričamo u stvari na engleskom da bi nas Barbara razumela i da bi mogla da učestvuje. Inače, naravno, i Goran i Miša govore srpski, izvinite što je tako, ali imate prevod, tako da nadam se da ćete se malo potruditi da nas razumete. So, Goran, what are the latest novelties in stomatology? What is it used now and what is not used any longer? What is found out dangerous for health?
What some dentists fear that is dangerous for health, and what others still think that it's okay, is, for example, mercury fillings, amalgam fillings, those silver fillings. But I think that topic is almost disappearing. But the interesting part is, why were those fillings thought to be safe? Now, it might not be very common for us in these u našem području. The terminology mad hatters. Mad, crazy hatters. So the terminology mad hatters comes from people that used to make hats out of felts. Felts, is it? Felts.
Felts.
The material. They used mercury to make it nice and flat. They got a syndrome, the mad hatter's disease. They had neurological symptoms of mercury toxicity. So they reacted to the mercury exposure. The mercury fillings, the amalgam fillings, there are tests that are showing that they do release some mercury. Now, when we take the filling out, they release mercury.
Mercury.
On heat, on brushing, on chewing. So it's not fully inert. It's not stuck in itself. When we take it out, we have to take the filling and pop it into a container and seal it, and then it's hazardous material. Biohazard. How do you say hazardous? Opasni material. And it has the sign with the skull and the cross, danger sign. Now, if I take that little filling out...
But you cannot take it entirely, you have to...
You have to drill it out.
Drill it out and it goes out from the mouth.
So if it's a block of filling, you drill around the edges and then you flick it out. So you try to reduce the exposure. That's what biological dentists are trying to do. They're trying to reduce the exposure to that. If I take this block and I put the block into this water here, and I make a bit of warm water and give it to you to drink, would you drink it or not?
No.
But why not? Because when you have it in the mouth, it's the same thing. So in theory, now again, don't stress about this. Maybe just make a plan to say, you know what, I like this idea, I will do it. The others might say, I don't like this idea. You don't have to do it. But they want to phase out the mercury because they're worried that the mercury will seep into the ground. Then the seeping into the ground will get into the water, and then we will drink it. Only after the fillings seep and slowly, and then it comes back to us.
Aha, da li mercury živa?
Jiva.
Da.
Yes.
Okay, so the trend for I think at least 15 years have
It's
been...
also a cosmetic trend.
Yes, has been
Remove
to take
them.
away,
Yes.
to remove amalgam,
Yes.
amalgamske plombe.
Yeah.
So you suggest, because why was it used at the first time? Was it like the first material to be discovered for this kind of use, or?
You know, I think it was, you know, it's difficult. I don't know.
Proper at that time.
No, but I don't know if they had, let's say, better options.
Yeah.
But we should look today. Today we have now better options. Today we have composite and ceramic fillings.
So my understanding is that it was a metal of choice because it molded.
Mm-hmm.
It molded and
application is
also
easy,
antibacterial. It's antibacterial or it's anti-life. So my understanding is that's why they chose it.
Yeah.
But why is it dangerous for health? Please explain, the two of you, why this kind of heavy metals? Because I know that sometimes when people have some kind of diseases, and Barbara would know better, they ask them, what kind of fillings do you have in your teeth?
Well, mercury is a neurotoxin. Neurotoxin means it kills brain cells. And it not only kills brain cells, it actually can eat away at the myelin sheath. Now, when the mercury hits the bacteria in the mouth, it converts it to methyl mercury. And methylated mercury can get through the blood-brain barrier. So that's a problem. And the other problem I understand is it's bioaccumulative. That means that the longer it's in the mouth, the more it is accumulating in the tissues. It's like the fish. The bigger the fish, the more concentration of mercury because it's bioaccumulative. It accumulates
as
in the
long
tissues.
as it lives, it accumulates more. But so because in this area, most of the people, most of us who are like 50 something now, we have grown up our whole life having this kind of tooth fillings. So can we do anything about it to just heal ourselves from these accumulations?
You first of all have to visit Goran.
Or somebody else, not just me, but somebody who does it similar.
But getting them taken out safely.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think I got them out safely. I got them out, but it was like
Yes.
spit out,
Everywhere.
wash, spit out.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but at least I got them out a long time ago.
Yeah.
Some of them, just the two of them, I got them out maybe 1 year ago.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not going to die from that.
No.
Goran promises I'm not.
Sign the contract. Sign the contract.
Promise.
As we said before, things accumulate. I think why now we are not a very healthy society is because somehow we managed to accumulate a lot of stuff. What Barbara was talking about before was the plastics and the other one, but we can put this in right now as well. Plastic clothing, sports clothing. We just talked about this over lunch. We do sports in 100% plastic clothes.
Which is not good for our hormones.
Which is not good for the hormones.
Yeah.
Now, we also have plastic in our fillings, but that's very little. So should we be concerned over this or maybe over the clothing? If we have another choice, we can use ceramics. We can make fillings out of ceramics. But we remove the easy one, which is the plastic clothes, and then we go to the next stage. So it's always trying to find a way and to reduce this cumulative effect.
So in composite
And what we
fillings,
can reduce.
So what you're saying is that in composite fillings there is
Because it's a plastic. The composite filling is a plastic.
So my mouth is full of plastic.
Everyone's
Oh my
You
God.
might have ceramic.
I was talking to one dentist and he said, I use little quartz chips in epoxy resin. And then another dentist said, we use little glass beads in epoxy resin. So it's not 100% plastic,
No.
my understanding is.
And it's very little.
Yeah.
Think of that exposure to something else. Always think in the balance.
Yes, so something has to kill us. So, so I hope it happens slowly.
But it's not a neurotoxin like the
Yes.
mercury.
It's not a neurotoxin, at least, yeah. Yeah, okay, well, what symptoms could we develop and how can we possibly clean our body if we have heavy metal?
Well, there's a variety of symptoms. It's usually neurological because it's a neurotoxin. Probably one of the worst would be multiple sclerosis because it does eat away at that myelin sheath. I had a friend and she had lost the functions of her legs. She had become incontinent and they traced it to the mercury in her mouth. The good news is she got them removed. She started to implement the basic laws of health and she no longer has the symptoms. But there are herbs that will chelate with the metal and help to get it out of the body. Goran might know more than I, but the two that I mostly suggest are fresh coriander, or in America they call it cilantro, and chlorella. Chlorella is an algae, and these both chelate with the metal and help to get it out of the body.
So, Goran, you can tell us in Serbian as well. Da li znaš kako se zovu te biljke?
Korijander.
Korijander, dobro, to isto
da.
zovemo i ovde.
Chlorella se zove.
Aha, da, pa mislim da znam da...
A šta mi ovdje znamo jako dobro je zeolit.
Zeolit, da.
Zeolit je strava za to. Zeolite.
Yes,
Da.
It's a very
zeolite.
strong binder.
And zeolite, very high in minerals, and that helps too.
Dark greens. Dark greens is very good.
Yeah.
Or then we go to heavy, not heavy, but more intense chelation, where we try to do an intravenous vitamin. So we use vitamin C and we use glutathione. We produce glutathione, but once we have the fillings out, we add additional glutathione into the mixture of that. But then
Through
it's
infusion,
good through infusion. But then it's good to see a nutritionist because he will say, look, your levels are high. When I tested myself, and I had those fillings as well. When I tested myself, I didn't have high levels, but I also checked my allergy. I was not allergic to it. Maybe, thankfully, God gave me the opportunity to not have this, to be able to continue working. If I had very high allergic reactions and a high level, I might say, thank you very much, but dentistry, I'm done. Maybe that would be my choice, because I know some dentists that have given up. They went first through therapies, and then they started again after the body detoxed. Everybody is different. It's and also don't look at this and say like, oh, that's me, oh, that's me, that's me. That's the hypochondrial syndrome.
Mišo, would you add something to this?
Yes, I would like to add that, as I mentioned shortly before, it's very important what we put in our mouth. In Serbia, we brought Barbara to Serbia to lift the awareness, because people here are saying, yeah, we lived for so long and we were bombed and it doesn't matter what it happens, just that it's nice when we put it in the mouth. But it's so wrong. In the last 30 years, cancer grew to 80% more. There is 80% more cancer in the world in the last 30 years. So this is a huge step forward, and we should really take care of what we are consuming. Really, really, it's important. Maybe people will say, yeah, this healthy lifestyle, everything is not tasty. I was cooking for two children from my friend, and they said, we never tasted the vegetarian food as you prepared it, because we always thought it's dull, it's nothing good, it's not tasty. So it's really, really important what Barbara is telling us, and we are supporting Blue Zone. If you know, there are blue zones in the world, the 5 blue zones where people are living 10 to 12 years longer than other people.
Where are these zones?
It's Okinawa in Japan, it's Sardinia in Italy, it's Costa Rica, somewhere in Costa Rica, and I think it's one place in Spain, and the last one is Loma Linda in California. You cannot believe that in California is a blue zone, because America is not well known about healthy food, but actually people are doing plant-based. They're eating like mostly plant-based food, and they really live longer for 12 years longer than other Americans.
Yeah. So it all begins and ends with the diet, with what we eat and how we live. So can you, Barbara, please tell us the 8 rules of health?
Okay, the 8 rules, and I've coined them in the Sustain Me. Sunshine, and we've touched on sunshine, the importance of exposure. One of the reasons there's so much vitamin D deficiency today is because people are inside so much, whereas 100 years ago, most people spent most of their time outside. So even when it's cloudy, you are getting sunshine. Otherwise, in the middle of the day, it would be as dark as midnight. The fact that there is light, even with a cloudy day, you are getting some, and the body stores it quite well. So the sun's important. Water, drinking adequate water. Also, water can be used as a therapy, as ice, in inflammation, in alternating hot and colds. There are whole textbooks written on that. Nurses used to learn and study water therapies, but it takes time. So medicine really has gone to drugs today. So keep well hydrated. Sleep. Sleep is vital because that's when our body restores and revives. Trusting God takes into consideration all the mental, emotional, spiritual aspects of disease. We have a choice. We can choose faith or fear. And God said, I've not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And really, knowledge is power. And that's what we aim to do, is to educate people so they have tools so they don't need to go to fear. But faith also takes into consideration if someone's not well, they're not well yet, but they will be well. So it takes faith to believe that God designed the body to heal itself, and it will if we give it the right conditions. The next one is abstain. There are some things that must stop. If you're looking for optimum performance, there are some things that must stop.
Like?
They hybridized the wheat back in the 1950s, and that created a protein and a starch structure that's difficult to break down. So people say, do you eat wheat? I say, I do, but not much. But if I had any health condition, I would not touch it. We've also...
Eat the wheat.
Yes, we've also looked at dairy and how it's been changed. The oats, they should be very, very well cooked. These are the 5 allergens. Peanuts are commonly contaminated with mold, and refined sugar, it's really a toxic poison. And in one book, the author claimed it should be banned. And we've got things like maple syrup, honey. We don't have to have those refined foods. There's some things that must stop. The chemicals, I say to people, get the chemicals out of your home, out of your life, out of your clothes. The heavy metals out of your mouth. So it's just knowing what is going into our body, and maybe sometimes what is already in our body, and what we can do to eliminate the poisons. Next one's inhale through the nose. Mouth's for speaking, singing, drinking, eating, but the nose and the nose alone, in and out, will get more oxygen at the cellular level. N is for nutrition. High fiber, generous protein, great fats. That's what our diet should predominantly be of.
So these are the 8.
And moderation in all the good things. And the last one is exercise. The body must move.
Sure. Thank you for that. Sounds so easy, but yet so difficult for everyone to just be normal and act natural. Goran, tell me, what do the health of our teeth show or affect our general health?
That's interesting. So even in conventional dentistry, we understand now that the bacteria have an effect on cardiovascular disease, on systemic health, even on diabetes. Then there are studies that have also shown that an inflammation at the root, at the tip of the tooth, at the root, can cause those systemic issues. Something that we're slightly discussing at the moment or concerned about at the moment are root canals. Root canal is when you take the nerve out. When you take the nerve out, and I like this in Serbia because some friends were telling me, I'm going to go and fix my teeth now. I'm like, okay, so what do you do? He's like, well, I'll first go to the dentist and he's going to heal my tooth. That's actually lečimizub. Idem das lečimizub. So it's healing, treating the tooth. So once they take the nerve out, they then treat that inside. Now, funny enough, dentistry is the only medical profession that leaves a dead organ in the body.
So when you take out the root, the tooth
is not
dead.
alive anymore. The tooth is dead. Because the tooth inside that root system has nerve supply, blood supply, lymphatic system. That's a vital organ. That's always communicating.
It's funny, we
don't even understand what it does.
We actually don't think of teeth as of
They're
organs.
just this. Click, click,
But
click,
teeth
click, click.
are
That's
organs.
It. They're organs.
Svaki zub je organ.
Yes. And we only think, oh, you have to chew your food so that you can digest better. But the digestion starts in the mouth.
Yes.
Then we have Listerine, used to be a company that was making cleaning products, not mouthwash. So Listerine then thought, okay, what can we do? And then suddenly they started to make a mouthwash.
So is it good to use mouthwash?
Listerine wipes everything out. All the good and the bad stuff.
It's a cleaning product.
It's a cleaning product. It wipes your good stuff out. What you should use is coconut oil. Coconut is antibacterial. So you can use this and you can swoosh around. And you can really rinse
Coconut
it.
oil.
Coconut oil. So it's called
After you
oil
brush your
pulling.
teeth.
It's called oil pulling.
Do you have to brush it out?
Mučkanje uljem is what
Da,
it's called.
razumem.
No, in the morning. I would do it first thing in the morning. As soon as you wake up, you take a little bit of coconut oil. I like how they're nodding behind the camera. That's perfect.
Yes, we have some very aware young people here.
And you take the oil in the morning and you go like this for quite 10 minutes. And that balances out the oral microbiome. So a good, healthy biome will give a good, healthy mouth, will actually start your digestive pathway system. If your gut microbiome is good, then your food will be absorbed properly. If you wipe it out with antibiotics, you're not going to be happy. That's what you do with mouthwash. You wipe it out every single day. You dry out the tooth, you wipe it out, you wipe this clean. So back to the root canal then, it's a vital organ. And as you said before, we don't think about that. We just think about teeth to smash down food.
Yes, and sometimes they say, well, let's extract the tooth because it's hurting me. And just in the past, people used to extract teeth so easily.
And you know, there's an idea that teeth have connections in the system. Teeth have connections in the body. So that somehow this tooth is connected to another part of the body. Now, I'm asking you, do you know that there's any other system that we have which is connecting stuff? The mind, feet, yes, but our mind is connecting our gut. There's a mind-gut connection. But if we are really stressed, we see ulcers. So our thoughts can actually affect our gut, which I think is absolutely crazy. So why would not? But true.
Crazy, but true.
Yes. And we all know when we go on holidays, we just feel lifted. We feel happy, we digest better, everything is better. We also, there's a book, I love this book, one of my patients told me because I had back pain. It's called How to Heal Back Pain by John Sarno. So the listeners really should look it up. Your mind is affecting your back pain. It might not be a disc hernia. And the guy in the book writes, and I remember my mom, she's a massage and physiotherapist, and my dad used to be a physiotherapist.
And Mišo used to be physiotherapist before he became naturopath.
And my mom said 70% of
back pain.
70% of the disc hernias are psychosomatic, which means the mind is controlling the pain. When you are happy, it comes down.
I have to stop you now, just to say goodbye to our TV audience because our TV time has passed, but we are staying in the studio for the rest of our conversation. Nažalost, moramo ovdje da prekinemo jer nam je televizijsko vreme sat vremena, ali ćemo mi nastaviti razgovor vrlo interesantan o biološkoj stomatologiji, o tome kako da očistimo svoje telo i navedemo ga da se samo isceljuje na YouTube-u, tako da nastavite da nas gledate na YouTube kanalu Hype televizije. Možda vam je prečica link na playlistu koji je u opisu mog profila na Instagramu, ali svakako ako uđete na YouTube kanal Hype televizije pronaći ćete Male stvari i ovo izdanje sa Barbarom O'Neill, Goranom Stojanovićem i Mišom Krstićem. Hvala divna vodi i vama što nas pratite. So your mom...
So back to that. The back pain, the disc hernias, the pain that you feel there might be psychosomatic. And even then, my mom was saying, yes, they know that there is, I think it was 70%. The guy, John Sarno, in the book said the number is even higher. And he even claims that some of the operations might not be needed if the patient would start to look into his mind.
So,
if he would start to work on stress.
Yeah, so Barbara.
Reduce the stress.
Yes, Barbara, can you please continue?
Absolutely.
Stress release.
See, if you go to the into a science department, a school, there's a skeleton. And if they didn't hold it up, it'd be a mess on the floor. There's the skeleton. So in our body, what holds it together is the ligaments, it's the muscles, it's the tendons. And so they hold it together. So we can't do anything about the bones, but we can do everything about the muscles, the ligaments and the tendons. Now, what's also happening is there's a nervous system as well as the blood system that goes all through that.
Yes, all through.
And so, yes, let's keep it well hydrated, well nourished, and exercise so that it can hold it in place. But let's also deal with the mind and have the thoughts right, so that we can be assured that our spine is working well. Because yes, we've all had injuries. I've had some injuries, but they heal. They heal. So you can't really blame the old injuries. But there's a saying in an old book that says many might be well if only they thought so. So
yes, but
the thoughts have a lot to do with the mind and with the body. And I was being interviewed by Doc Malik. Now, he's an orthopaedic surgeon in London, and he told me that he'd got to the point where he was only operating on 5% of his patients. So what he was doing, he was getting to drink more water. He was getting them to exercise. You know, when you drink more water and you exercise, your mind works better. So you can't disconnect any of it. It is all connected.
Yes, sure, but I think people take it very difficult to change their thoughts because they think they're right and because they stick with one version of truth and one version of the so-called map of reality. So people actually have to be taught how to change their thoughts. I mean, not all you think is true. Not all you think is true.
Yeah, especially in this country.
Especially.
Very stubborn.
That's absolutely true. And so whenever I'm helping someone with that, you might laugh at what I'm about to say. I get them to start drinking more water, start going to bed early.
Start what?
Start drinking more water, start going to bed early, start eating nourishing food, start exercising, because then the mind is clearer, because the front part of the mind is where our decisions are made, but we've also got our limbic system, which is our emotional part of the brain. So, but getting all the physical right, our decision-making part of our brain is actually going to start working better. And then you appeal to the intellect that you can actually change this and you can change the way that you think. It's like if you say you can, you will. If you say you can't, you won't. So an illustration is a lady said, I can't sleep, I can't sleep, I can't sleep. I said, don't say that anymore. She said, why not? It's true. I said, because every cell in your body is listening and it says, oh, looks like we can't sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
If you just even change your words.
And your self-talk.
And so that's, and she said, what'll I say? Say, I'm going to try and I'm going to get there. I'm going to get better at this. And just little sayings like that, because our words, it's true that our words reveal our feelings, but our words also affect our feelings.
Exactly. And it's also proven that ideas come through movement. when you move, when you walk or ride bicycle or go running, then you get to the new ideas or you solve the problems better than just sitting and thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do now? It's also proven. Okay, Mišo,
Da dodam.
shall I ask you something or shall you just continue?
I can continue a little bit. I had a good friend working in hospital. And because of the night shifts, he started to take sleeping pills. And he was taking for 8 or 9 years that he could then function, for the day. Because it's not easy because of work.
Yes.
If you have so many night shifts in the month. And actually, he was struggling for a long time. And then when he started working outside, when he started to go outside more, then at the end he needed antidepressive pills. And then at the end, when he started working outside, everything went away. After 9 years of using something like what Barbara is constantly telling people, and what you said, if we don't change anything, nothing will change. And that's really thoughtful that we should do and think something about it. Like you said, maybe we are 50 or above 50, and how much is left of life? How much is that?
Exactly.
It's a short period, and we need to sleep well, to go outside, to work outside. Even if we don't have anything, we can go to a friend to help him around Belgrade, anywhere in Serbia. Go outside and work. Somebody asked me on Facebook how I can't sleep, and I know he's overweight and he's working. He's IT, working in IT. I said, are you on your computer in the evening? Are you using your phone? Yes. You need to remove that. You need to detox yourself, digital detox. Put your phone and your computer away from your bed.
Yes. Sometimes it is really so easy. Barbara, we are talking a lot about exercising, movement. How about older people who have never exercised or who think I'm too weak? Oh, what could I do? I can't move so much. What would you recommend to them?
Well, I was talking to my son Peter. He's just turned 40, and he's just started writing a series of books. It's called Chair Yoga for Seniors. And he takes them through a whole series of exercise in a chair.
In the chair, yeah.
In a chair, and it can be just starting by, and arms, and round, and knee up,
lifting,
and leg out, knee up.
I'm a total.
And also the twisting.
So, can you show the knee up again? Yeah. Znači, može i samo to. Može i ono dodajete loptu. You can also take a ball and give it to your grandma, and she gives it back, sitting in the chair.
25 times to grandma.
Yeah.
And it is true. And if they just start where they're at, because many look at exercise programs and think, I could never do that. Well, you just start where you're at. You just start with what you can do. I suggest push-ups every day, and if you can't do push-ups, do knee push-ups. If you can't get on the floor, do push-ups, on a bench and push-ups on a wall. But just start little by little, get that upper body moving, because in our upper body we have our heart, we have our lungs.
You need to start somewhere.
Starting somewhere.
Some people can go down, but they cannot come back up. They don't have strength. And once they fall, you have to lift them, unfortunately. Yeah, but as the more you're sitting, the more you're eating, the less you're spending calories. And Gorane,
I wanted to, just what we said before, how are things connected? And then I just remembered, in the UK, a friend of mine called me up and said, have you heard of this? And I'm thinking, what is happening? She says, I've been to the doctor. I had some scare. Uplašila sam se. I did a thermography, and it showed heat on my breast tissue. But then it showed heat on my breast tissue leading up to the tooth. So the thermography showed the heat going from the tooth down to the breast tissue. And you were asking how are things connected. So the whole cycle of that story, and we talked about different things, but if we remember what we said, why can a tooth not be connected to something else in the body if even the mind is connected to the gut or to the back?
Well, even the brain
importance of
and
teeth
the
is
gut
huge.
is similar.
Yes. And just remember this, you see the dentist every 6 months to a year. You don't have to see the doctor if you live healthy. You really don't have to.
Yeah.
Because if you drink your water, if you do your exercises, you only see him when you break something, when you have an accident. But otherwise, you might do your random checks, but you don't see him every 6 months like you should see your dentist maybe.
Yes, but what do you suggest as dentist, as our dental routine to be healthy, to have healthy mouth?
Hygiene.
What kind
seeing
of
the hygienist, seeing the hygienist. So really getting your gums cleaned.
Uh-huh.
A lot of dentists, I will show a nice picture in 2 days' time. We can maybe blend it in later.
Ah, you mean during the barber's...
during the event. That really shows how the gums are infected.
So
and
you have to clean your gums.
you have to clean your gums.
How frequently?
6 months.
So every 6 months is good,
With
but if you have a good
water
routine...
or with ultrazvuk?
That's ultrasound with a hygienist, with a dentist.
Excuse my Serbian English.
Yes, yeah,
because
absolutely.
yes, they also clean it with the water and with the ultrasound.
With the ultrasound to
sonda.
get the kamenac off. Yes. Now we start speaking.
So it's important to
Anglo-Serbian.
To clean Anglo-Serbian. It's important to clean our gums also under the teeth a little bit. Yeah? Twice a year. Did you say twice a year?
If your hygiene is good, you can do it once a year. If your hygiene is good, you might be able to do it even less. It really depends on the foods you eat, because some foods are sticky. Sometimes when you're a lot into your carbs and you go to Germany and you love the bread, you will have that stuff sticking on your teeth. It's not great. So the plaque removal is going to be harder. Electric toothbrush, I think, when we talk about the basics, is nice. Flossing, I think, is really important. Even though some biological dentists are saying we don't need to floss, I think it's good. So those are basic routines. But the dentist sometimes doesn't really look at the gums. He's only concerned about, are you in pain? No. Okay, fine. Next one.
So what if we have after?
After is...
Why is this happening and how can we cure it naturally?
Acidity, stress, looking at the oral microbiome, getting the microbiome right, alkaline foods, those things are good. But the stress is sometimes a factor. And sometimes there are margins, there are edges on the filling that are not good, and then it's rubbing. And then it creates the irritation, and then the after comes. Alcohol, smoking. You know, unfortunately, we are a country that smokes a lot and that drinks a lot, but it really smokes a lot.
Yes.
We still smoke indoors in restaurants.
Yes. Barbara, in podcast Sada i ovde, we didn't talk about alcohol and smoking and vaping, now very popular among young people, and there is a big campaign on how unhealthy and dangerous it is. What do you think about vaping?
It is absolutely unhealthy and dangerous because there are a lot of chemicals in there. And what happens is a person has a vape or even a cigarette smoke. I believe they're both dangerous. And there's no apparent adverse effects. But little by little, as the years go by, then it is seen. It's like it's acknowledged now that lung cancer is caused by smoking. Does that mean vaping's all right? No, it's not, because anything that goes into the lungs that is of a toxic nature is going to harm the lungs. But it's the accumulative effect, which Goran talked about, the bit by bit, like the dripping tap on a stone, we talked about that. It has an effect.
Okay. Well, what else, Goran?
Can I share some interesting info? And that's something I've learned 2 days ago from a podcast. I think it was in Sweden or somewhere Scandinavia. I think it was Sweden. Did a very interesting study on sun exposure, vitamin D. And they showed that if you're not exposed to sunlight and your vitamin D is low, it's as harmful as smoking.
If you don't expose yourself to the sun?
Yes. So no sun exposure is as harmful as smoking. That just blew me away. So just think of that And when you see the sun, don't think the sun is a laser that kills you. Think the sun heals, because the sun does actually heal.
That's true.
He's the doctor in the sky.
Yeah.
The doctor is one very important topic. All the things we do to look prettier, to look younger, like fillers, Botox, and different creams and serums and procedures. How do they affect our health? Are they okay or harmful?
No, they're not okay. They might initially seem to hold the skin or hold a person, but they actually do not. Our massage therapists tell us we can tell how much water a person is drinking as we massage their skin, because the skin just moves so beautiful on a well-hydrated body, but on a body that is not hydrated, the skin shrinks up, it doesn't move as nicely, but the wrinkles come a lot earlier on a dehydrated skin. And they have done studies on coffee, and it takes 5 glasses of water to make up for the dehydrating agents in 1 cup of coffee. Now, when you consider that, I think you would agree with me, most people are dehydrated.
So if you drink coffee, you need to have 5 glasses of water afterwards. Oh my God. So it's not enough.
Not just one like the Italians.
So for 2 coffees a day, it's not enough to have 2 liters as every average person.
A little extra. And also sleep, because while we sleep, especially those hours before midnight, that's where our body's restoring and recharging. Yeah. If we don't get that restoration, we age so much quicker.
Yeah. Actually, I feel really guilty and responsible to myself whenever I don't go to bed at 10 or 11 and stay up by 12 or 1, because my really aim is to always go to bed early. In these phases of my life, I think that's the most important. I don't smoke, I don't consume alcohol, and it really happens hard for me to explain people when I go out. They always push me, why don't you take alcohol? Why don't you? It's impossible, but you must take some alcohol. I said, no, I'm not consuming alcohol. It doesn't suit me well. It drains me out of energy. I just don't want. But, you know, that's because people have bad habits. But how about this guilt that we have? The more information on how we should be living, the more sense of guilt we are facing. Misha, can you help us?
Yeah, I would like to, because you mentioned coffee, and I would like to tell you that we have a 2.5 times bigger chance to get cancer if we consume coffee regularly.
Which cancer? I was told the breast cancer, breast cancer.
Just cancer in like different ways. It's not just strictly, but we have such a bigger...
such a shame. Now I can no longer drink even coffee.
Yeah, but you know...
No, but excuse me.
In moderation.
In Sada Jovde, you can find Barbara's advice what to do, how to not drink so much coffee.
And the detox of our body is super important. Even if we did something that we can still, we have still a chance to fix it or to try to do it better. Even if it's late or something, to stop smoking, to stop drinking, because as you said, everybody is pushing you. I'm going through that for 31 years when I stopped smoking and drinking. I still have good friends. Yeah, come on. When we are at a birthday party or something, hey, come on, just one or something. Yeah. Will you smoke? Well, no, I don't need it. I'm totally fine. But that's not that. What are you living them for? That's a common question in Serbia. And you don't enjoy it. No, I'm enjoying it fully. Yes. But I don't need that. That's just funny. I have a funny story. When I moved to Serbia, like to study, and I was invited to this Orthodox Slava. There is like a pagan traditional. Every family has traditional saint that they are worshiping. Yeah, worshiping. So my colleague from my friend from university, she invited me and a couple of others, and father was already half drunk at the door, and he was giving rakia, the something like schnapps, like brandy, local brandy, and he was giving to everyone stepping into the house. I said, no, thank you. And he, how come? You need to. I said, no, thank you. And then he did it. And and then we went in, and he was next to me. So many people.
Insisting on the rakia.
No, and then coffee. And I said, no, I'm not drinking coffee. Oh, come on. And then he wanted to give me meat. I said, no, I'm not eating. Why did you come? You're not enjoying it.
So that's what I was telling you in the beginning. We connected enjoying in very toxic habits. Yeah, but let's go back to fillers and hyaluronic acid. What is your attitude on that?
If you look at the side effects, it's not hard to Google the names and look at the side effects. It does not last. We had a couple of topless waitresses come into our program. They had tops on, but these girls, they had Botox, they had breast implants, they had everything. And they asked us if we did Botox, and we said, no, we don't do Botox. And they said, well, what do you do? And we said, well, actually,
we sleep.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
We drink water, we sleep.
But, you know,
we exercise.
There are so many things that are so-called beauty treatments that are actually killing women. And the Botox, after a few years, the side effects are pretty bad, and there's even a disease called breast implant disease. You know, there are women that have been sick ever since the breasts went in. And one woman, she had hers taken out after 4 years because she was so sick. She had so many allergies, and still the doctor said it's not the breast implants. And the nurse took her aside and said they were mouldy. The breast implants inside her were mouldy.
Already implanted as mouldy, or just became mouldy?
They became mouldy. You see, they're in a warm environment. And she said she could just never get warm because there were these cold things on her chest.
But they never get warm.
So,
that's what women say.
You see, this is why I don't agree with Barbie dolls. Barbie dolls, the 15-year-old wakes up one morning, looks at Barbie, looks at herself in the mirror and knows she's nowhere near Barbie. You see, dolls were meant to be like little babies for little girls. Where did Barbie come from? And it's this stereotype that puts into women's head that they must look like that. But one of the most beautiful things about being a woman is to love who you are. Just to love your age, love where you are, love what you've got, and give the body the right conditions. That in itself, I think, is a great beauty.
Yes, you gave birth to 6 children.
Yes.
And how long did you tell me you were pregnant and breastfeeding?
14 years.
14 years. Oh my God. And you still look beautiful, slim at your 72, like a girl.
Well, there's a formula.
Which formula? Sleep, water?
You heard that a couple of times.
Here we go again.
Is it the 8 rules of healthy living, as you mentioned half an hour before? What's the formula?
Sustain me. It does sustain me.
Okay. For those who didn't get it, Sustain Me, it's the name of Barbara's book, but it is also acronym for these 8 healthy habits.
Basic laws of health.
Basic rules of health. Goran?
On the basis of beauty and anti-aging, the anti-aging starts when you're an infant. Breastfeeding is number 1 for anti-aging. Not for the mother, but for the child. At breastfeeding, the jaw gets the exercise, and the jaw is pushing forward. Then hopefully the child does not have a tongue tie. Tongue tie is when the tongue is attached to the bottom. So it can actually breastfeed. So the tongue then sits at the roof of the mouth. And the tongue widens the palate. So the upper jaw gets wider. And I like how you're following with things I'm saying.
I was breastfeeded and I breastfeeded my daughter.
And you have an accentuated jawline.
That's why people now put the
They go like
jawline.
this.
They go to the surgeon and to the esthetician, but I couldn't because I already have them.
There's a brilliant dentist in Russia, in St. Petersburg, Stanislav Blum, and he does anti-aging dentistry. And it really is connected to all of these things. Then when the tongue's at the upper arch, the palate gets wider, the teeth have enough space. What's really contraindicatory, kind of.
Yep.
Contra?
Yep.
Yes, yep. If you take 4 teeth out to straighten your teeth. So usually people wait until they're 13, kids, parents, and then say, now we take 4 teeth out and we make them nice and straight. But then you shorten the arch instead of widening it, creating space so that the jaw and everything can develop.
So
we
what
need
would
space.
you suggest instead when people have to wear braces, which is quite usual?
Ideally is to start at an early age to see what's happening at year 5, year 7, year 8, 9, and to widen the palate to make sure there's enough space. It doesn't have so much to do with wisdom teeth because they might just not have the space, but it's for the other ones. And then as we get older, you want to maintain the bite. And the anti-aging dentistry is actually looking at restoring that collapse of the bite. And you see sometimes when you think of friends you might have that have from the side, the jaw, the face goes like that. And the lower jaw here somewhere. Then you also see a double chin, everything's happening. But if there's space, everything is broader, everything is bigger.
So they are
and it
new
looks
kind
younger.
of...
So check out Stanislav Blum. He has a lot of these comparisons, absolute genius.
Okay. Well, before we finish this conversation...
And laser. And laser.
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 I mean, for the skin?
For the skin, for lips. And the company is brilliant. It's in Slovenia. I love that company, Fotona. So it's a laser company that really helps to just work on the collagen that we lose and just to you know.
So what do you suggest for beauty? Except sleeping, hydrating, and exercising. Is there anything that we could put? No, it's cool. Sleeping
because it really is all an illustration of what's happening internally. Our eyes, our skin, our ears, our teeth, our bones, they're all an illustration of our hydration, the nourishment we're eating, the movement of the body. And when we go into the high-intensity interval training, it causes a release of the human growth hormone. And the human growth hormone has been used by many actresses and actors and movie stars to slow down aging because it increases the circulation of the blood to the skin. The human growth hormone increases the body's ability to utilize protein. It actually starts burning fat as fuel instead of glucose. There's a whole lot of incredible things that happen on the release of the human growth hormone. It's very active when we're growing. But when we stop growing, it slows down a bit. When we do the high-intensity interval training, which is intervals of very high intensity, like walking very fast up a hill or running very fast or on the exercise book, intervals of very fast, then slower, then very fast, and then slower. That causes a release of the human growth hormone that remains active for 24 hours. So that's a wonderful health secret. Now, the movie stars pay $1,000 a week for that, but all we need to do is partake of that high intensity in some little ways every day. You know, you can do it on your 30 push-ups, on your rebounder, just the intervals of high intensity recovery.
Good advice. But do you put any creams ever?
Not usually. Sometimes I might put, a lady gave me a mix of almond oil, castor oil, and it's got lavender, essential oil, and then frankincense. And that's quite nice, but I don't usually.
And what do you think about perfumes and their scents generally and their influence on our health?
Well, they certainly are mostly chemicals and mostly toxic, but you can get some beautiful essential oil mixes So I encourage ladies to go to very good quality essential oils that have some beautiful scents.
Good. Okay, guys. Well, is there anything else that you would like to say before we say goodbye? Did we forget?
There is one thing I'd like to say, and it's in reference to the tongue tie that Goran was talking about. There's hardly a baby I see today that's not born with either tongue tie, cheek tie, lip tie, and it's connected to the folic acid. See, women are told in pregnancy to have folic acid. They must have folic acid to prevent deformities, but it's toxic. What women need is folate, and folate comes from dark green leafy vegetables. Now, what the folic acid does, it interferes with the development of fascia. Now, fascia is a thin balloon-like material around every muscle, every organ in the body, and that fascia is it's basically what causes that bit of skin that causes the tongue tie. And I know in Australia today, all wheat, when it's ground, they add folic acid. So I say, please, ladies, keep away from folic acid. You need folate. And folate is found in your dark green leafy vegetables.
I just want to ask you, what is dark
green leafy vegetables would be spinach and kale and broccoli and the dark green leaves of the lettuces, cabbages.
Okay. Well, Goran, thank you once again for bringing Barbara O'Neill to Serbia and letting our audience know more. Mišo, also thank you to you for the same thing, and thank you for being here with us on the Hype TV at Male Stvari TV show. Barbara, thank you so much for giving us so much of your time and being our guests in both Male Stvari and Sada I Ovde TV shows on the Hype TV.
Well, I'm so glad to be here because I know this message will go out to many.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Have a good life, and I hope to see you again somewhere, either in Serbia or worldwide. Vama hvala što ste nas gledali, hvala Divnoj vodi koja je prijatelj naše televizije i zahvaljujući kojoj, kao što vidite, mi se već hidriramo, kao što nas je uputila Barbara O'Neill. A vas ću zamoliti da ovu emisiju podelite sa ljudima za koje mislite da bi im bila korisna. Nalazi se na YouTube kanalu Hype televizije i ujedno da vam kažem da imamo sada već preko 500.000 pretplatnika na našem YouTube kanalu i da vam zahvalim zbog toga. I da kažem da se link na playlistu svih emisija Male stvari i Sada I Ovde također nalazi u opisu profila Snežana Dakić, tako da vam je to prečica da dok radite možda nešto drugo, kao što je spremanje hrane, dok se vozite ili dok peglate, recimo, da usput odslušate nešto ovako. Vidimo se, doviđenja. Thank you.
Thank you.
Male stvari.